Hi guys, so today I felt like making an MBC3 flashcard, so that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to use one of these, which is an AM29F016B. Got an FRAM module here, which you can see is FM18W08. I've got a desoldered MBC3 chip, which you get from a donor Gameboy card, whatever this one is. To be honest, I'm not quite sure. And this is some sort of input gate, I think. What was it? I'm going to double check. It's a 3-input OR gate, and that's pretty much all you need, other than some capacitors and resistors. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do the resistors and such first. So let's see, 15 picofarad. You need 2 of these. If I can open it. There we go. Alright, so let's put these on first. So the 15 picofarad goes onto C4 and C5. So I need some solder. And C4 and C5 are here and here. So just tin a bit of C4, a bit of C5. Get my tweezers. There's one. Oh, it's stuck to my tweezers. Right. I'm going to start with C5. Just try and get it centered a bit. My tweezers apparently want to really stick to things. And there you go, that's C5. There's one side. And there's C4. Okay, so next we have, that's the 15 again. What a dum-dum. 1K resistor. Just because it's what I picked up next. So the 1K resistor, because there's only 3 of them, goes on R3. Let's see if I can get it on R3 once I get it out. There you go. So R3 is, that's R2, R1, R3 is right here. It's next to the battery contact. So pick that up. There you go. Oops. I've just cut my solder in half there. And there's that one done. Next we'll do a 10k resistor. I'll put those back over there at the way. I get the feeling that this video may be a bit awkward because I'm pretty close to the bench, I think. But we'll see how it turns out. Okay, there you go. So that's 10k and that one is R2. Which is down here next to the FRAM module chip. Integrated circuit, technically. I just call them chips because it's easier. Oh, a little bit of movement there. It's not being down fully. There you go. That's a bit awkward there. There you go. Then I need a 330k resistor, which is on this extremely long rail here. Just the one though. So I've actually tried to do this before, but I'm pretty sure that my first batch of EM29 FO16Bs was essentially just broken. I got 10 of them, and out of all 10 that I actually tried, 9 of them did not work. So I'm hoping that this works because this is from a new batch, and I did attempt one. So this is the 330k, which goes on R1, which is up here. So as I was saying, I did do one of them out of the new batch, of which I only got 4, and it did work pretty much instantly, so I'm hoping that this one does the same. That's R1, just a bit of solder on this side, sorted. There you go. So that's the resistors done. Next I need some capacitors. So every other little pad, all the other little pads are actually 0.1 microfarad or 100 nanofarad capacitors. So that begs the question, why did I just cut one when I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Ooh, someone's talking. Sorry about that, I have Discord on and someone was just talking in the voice chat there. That is the Gameboy Discord. Right, so need 5 of these, and like a silly person I only did 4 and then 1, so I'll have to open 2 of these now. Where did that go? There it is. Right, so that's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 1 went over here, which is 4. I just realised that you can't actually see that, but believe me, there's 4 capacitors just there. Alright, I'm going for the wrong side to open this. Oh, sorry. Someone's just asking about something. Sorry about that. Just getting asked if I was modding on camera on the Discord. I cannot get into this one. And there you go. Right. Shout outs to Sir Mr. Chrono666, the popular there, by the way. He was the one asking me there. Right, so let's tin up the right pad after I heat up my soldering iron again. There you go, that should do. Tin up the right pad of every capacitor location. 3 and 2 over here. Alright, so that's all of the capacitors there. So now I need my tweezers. And let's do all of the horizontal ones first. So you've got 3 of them. So these 1, 2 and 3, in fact. That did not go on very well. Okay, that really looks quite terrible. But I'll clean that up in a second once I put this solder on. There you go, that looks nicer. Let's clean up the tip. And there you go, that's a lot better. Alright, C2 next. And there's that one. Very simple once you've actually got the capacitors out. To be honest, opening the capacitors takes the time because they're so small. And the reel is quite difficult to get a hold of with tweezers. Well, not difficult, but it takes a second. And there you go. Ish. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Right, and then the 2 vertical ones. Again, I'm just realizing, ugh, silly me. This is what I get for trying to do Discord and YouTube at once. I'm not used to it, so my apologies. But again, it's really not that difficult to do this, and it's all pretty much the same. So if you've seen one, you've seen them all. So C7 and C6. There you go. Right. Next, I will do the hardest one. So on this, we've got the EM29F016B. Let me just have a quick look here. Yeah, so on this you've got 2 little holes, 2 little dots. There's a sort of larger one here, but this sort of beveled one is the pin 1. And as you can see on the cartridge here, the dot is in the top right. Oops. So that means that you want to put that in like that. So what I want to do now is I want to get some solder and my soldering iron, and I want to line this up just right, get a bit of solder on the tip of my iron, and just tap that on the edge there. That did not work. Tap that on the edge there. Right. So now that that is like so, that shouldn't move. And I can attempt to level this side a bit better. Like so. A bit more solder. I'm just getting it from the actual reel this time. Spool. And there you go. Oh, no, that does still want to move. And that does not want to go onto my soldering iron. Let's clean that up a bit better. Right, so that's on the end of the iron. Move it over slightly and just tack some solder on there. So now I think that's a little off actually on that side. I'm not sure how that's happened. So just maneuver that back in. Nope, it's still off. That looks better. Yeah, so as you can see here, let's put my soldering iron down. As you can see, the pins are pretty much lined up perfectly. So now I want to start from the other side with a bit of solder. Do that. Then I want to use a bit of flux. And then that should help it flow better. Should. That's not going too well, is it? Right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a closer look. Yeah. Oh. I need to get in a bit closer because I'm not used to working at this angle. Right. Yeah, it's moving a little better now. And I just got a nice little blob of solder on my finger, just here. That's nice. I think there's a bit much on there, so where is my soldering wick? My braid. Normally I would cut it off, but as you can see I didn't last time. Alright, so we've got a little bit going there. Let's just see if I can get this to work a bit better. Alright, so we're over on the right hand side with this bit of solder now. Let's just see if I can get rid of that. Oh, get rid of some of that. There you go. A bit more flux. That's it. That's what I wanted. Now, technically, at the end on these chips, you don't have to get it perfect because it's a TSOP 48 pin chip, but technically on these specific ones, the 2 pins on each side of the actual chip are not actually connected internally. So theoretically you could bridge the first 3 pins on each side. I mean, I wouldn't advise that because it doesn't look very nice, but you could technically do it. Right, there's probably enough solder there. Let's see if I can get this to float better. There you go. Flow, damn you, flow! So this MBC3 flash card is actually designed by somebody on the Gameboy Discord by the name of Mr. HDR, or just HDR. So on the actual Discord his name is just HDR. I think Mr. HDR has read it. I'm not entirely sure. I might just be making that up. It might just be HDR. Now that I think about it. I need a bit more flux. But yeah, he's designed this, and he's actually designed another one for MBC3, which is actually just a chip that you can find on Japanese Pokemon Crystal cards. The interesting thing about those is that normally on a Pokemon or any game really, the maximum ROM size you can actually use is 2 megabits, but when you're using an MBC3, you can actually use 4 megabits. Right, that is not wicking up for some reason. Lots more flux. There we go. That's more like it. And I thought I just soldered my wick to it there for a second. I've just got too much solder on this. Let's try that. So yeah, with that obviously you would need a different chip, because this chip, the 016B, is just a 2 megabit chip. You can get an EM29FO32B, I believe, which has the same pin layout, which does actually work on these, but that's a 4 megabit chip. Oops. I've just attempted to clean up C7 there and it moved a little. I'm not sure if that's on. And you can also get a 29FO33C, which I've got some of those, and I plan to actually try and do a 4 megabit card. But before I do that, I do actually need some PCBs that will support it. So as you can see here, this is the FRAM module, the 18W08. The dots in the top left there, and the dots in the top left there. So that just goes on like so. And as you can probably see, the pins are a lot bigger, so it's a lot easier to do than that flash chip itself. So I'm just putting a bit of solder on the corner pin, line it up. Ow. Burned myself in the process. That's just because I was too close. That looks pretty good. This side's a little askew. It needs to go up slightly actually. Yep. So as you can see, just use one pin in the corner here to line everything else up. I will put some solder in the bottom left, and then I am going to start from this side instead. So just a little bit of solder, bit of flux, and just drag the solder along. Simples. Doesn't look like there's enough solder though. Let's get a little bit more. And just clean them up slightly. Make sure it's on the pad. Bob's your auntie, as Mr. Mako would say. I prefer simples because that's from an English car insurance advert. Meerkats. I think that's from Compare the Meerkat. Sponsor, not sponsor. Not really. But if Compare the Meerkat wants to sponsor, highly doubtful. And there you go. Simple. Simples. Okay, so that is those two done. I've got 3 chips left. Now I'm going to do the one that goes just next to this. As you can see here, you've got U3. It's a very small chip, and it's that 3 input OR gate, I think it was, that I looked at earlier. This is it. So I am going to have to get my magnifying glass here and have a look and see which way it goes on. Oops. Right, so that is the correct way around. Because if you look here, there is a little dot in the top left again. So that's the way it goes on. So it's pretty much just more of the same. Try and sort of tack down one of the corners. So I'll do that one there. And then try and maneuver it so that everything's in place. And then I like to do the opposite corner. You could probably just do any pin on the other side really, but I like to do the opposite one. And then just add a little bit more solder. Technically that could work, or it could have before I bridged it, but I like to put a bit of flux on as well. And spin around. Solder. There you go. And a bit more flux. Sorted. Right. Next I will do this MBC3 chip. So let me get some tweezers. So with this one, you've got the dot in the bottom left. So if you look at the chip here, you can see it is in the bottom left when the text is facing you. So just something to note on these particular chips there. So I will just start in the bottom left here, I think. I need these tweezers because the other ones do not actually fit around this chip. So that appears to be correct. Sorry, again, I was not able to show that because I dum-dum. No, I've messed that up now. I was just trying to make a slight adjustment there. That looks pretty good from this angle at least. Nope. Again, it is at a slight angle. To be honest, it probably would have worked, but I prefer to get it just right. Yeah, that will do. That will be fine. So let's just add a bit of solder up the top there. I'll start on this side with a bit of flux. Oh, looks like we've got a bit of a bridge there. Yeah, I'll have to get rid of that with some braid. There you go. Simples, a bit more flux, and just reflow them. And get another bridge out of that. Oh, there you go. Yeah, sorted. So now that I've got one side on, I can essentially just do every other side now, because that side will hold it on. So I actually got quite a lot of solder on this. I didn't realise I'd use so much. Come on, come over to the right, please. I'm going to screw you, little fishy. I don't know what I'm singing. Right, braid. That was actually from Red Dwarf, by the way. I'm not actually going to screw a fish. A bit more. There you go. I don't think there's any bridge there. I'm pretty sure these two here are actually supposed to be bridged. So that's fine because they're both ground, which I'm aware of. Just going to add a tiny bit more flux. There you go. There you go. That side went pretty well. Just a little bit more flux to ensure everything has gone well. And then the bottom side, which I added a little bit of solder to, so I'll just flow that first. Actually, is that enough? Yeah, I think that's probably enough actually. Okay, so with that chip done, that just leaves this one for the moment technically I would need a crystal and a battery, but I do not want to add those just yet, just in case this does not work. But a crystal is very easy. Oops, I just pinged that off onto the floor. So, right, this one's actually quite important to note here, because as you can see, this one is from an actual Game Boy cart as well. The text is facing me and the dot is in the bottom left, but I'm not sure why, but HDR didn't actually put a dot on the board. So the dot goes in the bottom left, but just in case anyone ever wants to actually make one, it's good to note. And I've got it upside down. I'm going to use my hands, it's quicker. There you go. Alright, so bit of solder in the bottom left to attach it to. Get it into position like so. Maybe a little more to the right. Yeah, that looks better. And then I'll just do all of this side at once, since there's only the two sides and there's only 4 pins. Again, I'm going to use flux. I mean, realistically I don't think I need to for this because the pins are so wide. Wide boys, but I prefer to just make sure that everything actually flows quite well. And there you go. So now that is done, I need to get my handy toothbrush here. A bit of isopropyl alcohol, which is very hard to get under there. I'm going to move my tweezers because now I have nowhere to put my isopropyl alcohol. And I'm just going to clean the entire cart to get rid of all that liquid flux that I've put on there. I'll clean the back as well. And there you go. So now that that is clean, I will need a cartridge. So I'll use this one here. This is a Japanese cartridge which has the MBC3 chip. That's the wrong end. So the reason I'm doing this is because in order to test this, I didn't actually flash anything to this first because I don't have anything to do that with just yet. I've got a Sony card reader on the Wii, or rather the PCB for one on the Wii, but with that not here yet, really the only way I've got to program these. Actually, I do have an adapter as well, which is coming for a TL866 programmer. But again, I don't have that yet, so the only way I've really got to program these is with one of these, which again was designed by HDR. It's a GB Flasher Micro. This is the version 1.5. So I made this myself. So essentially, with that in the cartridge there, I can then plug that into there, and it's USB-C. If I plug that in my PC, I can then see if this is working. So let's just quickly do that. I'll just move my phone now because I'm pretty much done there for the moment. As you can see here, ignore the rest of this. But if I press the cart info, which I've lost my mouse, there, you get the manufacturer is 0 × 1 EMD, which is what, which is who actually manufactured that cartridge, the bloody flash chip. That's the word I'm looking for. So as you can see here, 2 kilobytes, 2 megabits, 2000 kilobytes. I don't think you need to set the RAM unless you actually want to read or write the RAM, but I'm going to erase the flash. And as you can see, it didn't complete instantly. That's Miyako there and Hibana. So since it didn't do it instantly, that means it's probably working. So there you go. I'm just going to write this with, I guess, crystal clear. This might take a little while. So I think I'll just put this phone back for now, let that finish. And while it's doing that, I will get out some more things. So here is the crystal that I'll be using. I only want one. So that's an RTC, real-time clock. That is for games like Pokemon, or in this case, as you saw, I'm flashing crystal clear to it. That's like a ROM hack sort of game, designed by Shockslayer, and it's a really good game actually. I really like it. So this is what holds the date, because for Pokemon Crystal obviously it had like a date system, and Gold and Silver as well. And I need to find where I have put the battery holder. There it is. So that's going to hold a CR2025 battery. Technically it's a CR2020 battery holder, but it will hold 2025 as well, of which I have got 3 here. I've also got a whole bunch of other batteries, but for the moment I only need this one. So I'm actually just going to tear that off and do that. So that's a battery for later. So we're just pretty much just waiting now. To be honest, this is a 43-minute video, which I was not expecting it to take this long. So I don't really want to edit it, to be honest. So I'm just going to wait. While I'm waiting, I'll just nearly ruin the view. Let's see if I can. There you go. So while I'm waiting, this here is, I think it's called Trade Battle Card Hero, and this is essentially the same thing inside. So when you put it in a game, boot it up. I like to do that. And as you can see, this is crystal clear 2.0 baby apparently, and that's my name. And this is these are the Pokemon that I've got. So that's actually finished flashing now, so I'm just gonna turn this off. but I just thought I'd show that. And also here's another Itsudemonyan, which is essentially the same thing inside. So I've made two before, as I said. So here's the one I just made. I don't need the flasher anymore. So that's the one I just made. Let's just put that into my GBA here. Incidentally, this is a Game Boy Advance with a funny playing IPS screen, which is why it's backlit. And ooh dear. Let's see if that works again. There you go. Just a contact issue, thankfully. Honestly, I would leave the intro on if it didn't have that little part there that you can't skip. And there's Shock Slayer. As I said, he made the Crystal Clear. And there you go. So obviously it will not save the game because it has neither a battery nor a crystal. So I keep doing this. Stop messing up the shot. So I'll just take that out. And then we just need to angle the legs on this crystal slightly. What I like to do is, because they start straight, I like to angle them in, come on, focus, make a little diamond shape, and then I just sort of pull them apart, if I can actually get at the pins, like sort of like that. Again, we cannot focus apparently. There you go. So sort of like that. Then just drop that onto this little hole while it's on a flat surface, and then just sort of, there you go. They're pretty much ready. Just had to bend it slightly. And there you go. So I just need my soldering iron, some solder. Let that heat up. And just solder that in. Easy as. So there's a crystal in. Then as I see it, we need a battery holder as well. So the way the battery works here is, if I was to put it in this way, it wouldn't be able to get in. So you have to put it this way around so that these angled parts are here. And so obviously when you slide it in, you push these middle parts up. So the way I like to do this is just add a bunch of solder here, just to the one pad, and then get it in position, and then I actually use some tweezers so I don't burn myself, and just heat that up and put it in. And I believe that should now be in right, yeah. Add some solder to the other side. And there we go. Just add a little bit more here. And that's pretty much it. And then you just pop the battery in. Like so. As I say, this is a CR 2020 holder, so that was a little difficult to get in, but it's still fine. And then I will just put that to one side because that's another MBC3 chip I can make into one of these later. Put that into the case, put that into the case properly, get my screw, which is just here, and screw it together. And there you go. So it really is that simple. So I'll just put that in there, turn that on. And I'm going to have it around here so I can actually do this comfortably. So I'm just going to skip through all of this for now. I just want to show it saving. So with this one, you go to the right. What am I doing? That's it. Done, and save. My name is E. Color red. Select the default color. Red will do. Bulbasaur will do. Bit of hair on the screen of the GB there. Yeah. That's a nice Game Gear glass screen there. So let's just see it, not the default time. So 1 o'clock, 4 minutes. Sunday will do, even though technically it's Monday. I do not want to hear about it because I know, and I just want to save. Oh, yeah, save game for soft resetting will do. I'm just going to give it a stupid nickname as well. I'm going to save it, if I can actually see through my hand. So the time, I believe you can see on the title screen. So I'll turn it off, turn it back on. If I hold down select, that will default to the title screen. And as you can see, it remembered that it was 104. And now it's just ticked over to 105. And again, if I turn it off, I'll just take it out and put it back in to just double check. But that should still be 105. And there you go. So that's my video on how to make an MBC3 cartridge. Like I said, if you want to make one of these, you can get the PC. Well, I haven't actually said this, but you can get the PCB from. Well, the HDR's got an Oshpark account, and he shares his projects on there. You can get it from there, or if you're not sure where that is, you can just join the Gameboy Discord as well, and I'm sure someone there will be more than happy to help, or you can have a look through all the different resources that are there. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, maybe, if I make another one. Bye.